Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's video is dedicated to Alois and Exsellsior. Thanks for your support. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to Pathfinder Kingmaker, as we continue our ham-fisted efforts to tame the stolen lands. But let's be honest here. Silverleaf is a level 9 alchemist, not a level 9 aristocrat. He'll always be better at blowing things up than rebuilding them afterwards. Anyway, it turns out that we do not currently have any pressing quests. I mean, we do have a couple of minor artisan quests, and we do want to get to the Tenebrous Depths at some point. But for the most part, we really just have 90 days to kill. With that in mind, I think today we'll mostly just focus on kingdom management, though we will obviously take care of any issues that arise in the process. There's our token reward for reading that essay. So now we just need to advance the clock a day and get Harem on those mysterious weeds. Mysterious cult. Success. Passionate denunciations from the priest move the people to detest the vile cult. Nice, that actually gives us enough to hit rank 2 in Divine. Oh. And it looks like he wants an audience. Okay, let's see what's going on. Harem mumbles to himself, pulling on his beard. Finally, he notices you. Silverleaf, allow me to speak for those who cannot protect themselves and their faith. The priests of Erastil and the priests of the other gods, they've all turned against the ancient faiths that once flourished in the stolen lands, now long since passed into eternity. Their final traces are the ancient shrines and idols which lay hid among the swamp and woods, symbols of transience and decay. They wish to demolish these idols. They seek to destroy, with fire and chisel, all that would remind them that all things must come to an end. Harem strokes his beard broodingly. Whoever it was that once worshipped these idols, their faith deserves our respect. It is your decision, but I would not destroy these ritual places just because the god they are devoted to isn't well known. I myself serve such a god, often decried by ignorant tongues. That is actually a surprisingly valid point from Harem. Yeah, as long as they're not hurting anyone. Leave the idols where they stand. Someone worships them, and we've no right to interfere. Harem nods gravely. That is the right decision, Silverleaf. Well, I do live for your approval. Dragon bows, coughing quietly into his beard. Your Grace, I would like to apologize. I suppose I was a little headstrong during my last visit. I have a bad temper. In the mountains, they used to call me the Grumbler. Well, I didn't expect my petition to be taken seriously. No one wants to share with strangers, even if their demands are quite lawful. Please know that I appreciate your honesty. Please, accept this. I worked hard on it. I hope it serves you well. It is a decent piece of work, to be fair, but not a masterpiece. Masterpieces are rare, once-in-a-lifetime accomplishments. Anyway, I have an idea of how to use our family relic for your greater glory, but I'm going to need your help. Come by if you're interested. I'll tell you more. If my gift pleases you, please respond in kind. I've been robbed. Some thieves crept into my workshop and took all my gold, and Onslaught too. I hadn't even had a chance to finish it. The people are saying that robbers, thieves, and murderers have lately been freely roaming the area. They gather along the Thorn River, near the ford. You're the ruler, so please, I beg you, take action to find it. I think that's a fair request. We'll add it to the list. It's a pleasure to work hard for such an honorable lord. And that gives us a new artisan quest. Which apparently will take us towards the Thorn Ford. That's actually not too far out. In fact, that would take us towards Oleg's. We could check in on Bakken, see what's going on with him. Let's have a look at that item he gave us. Blessed Defense. +3 heavy shield. Grants the ability to cast Divine Power once per day. It's a slight step up for Harem, I think. Of course, we don't want his current shield to go to waste, so we'll just swap that over to Amiri. Turns out she already has a slot dedicated to sword and board. I just constantly forget about it. I really would like to boost our divine rank, but we just can't risk skipping a problem, so let's get Harem on those mysterious weeds. We'll go ahead and burn a crisis point. Fortunately, we've still got Jubilost free, so we'll go ahead and have him rank up instead. Lovely. Proposal for cooperation. Success. The Regent promised the merchants help in resolving property disputes, if any arise. In exchange, the merchants agreed to lower their prices on timber, stone, and ore. Not too shabby. It's nothing groundbreaking, but I think that makes up for that other merchant we had arrested. The Howling Wolves. Triumph. Our soldiers chased the wolves straight back to their lairs. They destroyed all the beasts, as well as their leader, a bloodthirsty warg. His skin now hangs on a banner, inspiring the soldiers with courage and pride. Fantastic. In the name of the law. Triumph. They were approved and hired, and their help will come in handy. They have written glowing letters back home, describing the warm welcome they received. The reputation of the young barony continues to advance. Wow, we are on a roll here. That even got us some uncommon stat boosts. Alright, let's see what else we've got here. Bumper Harvest. This year, the gods had smiled upon the peasants. The grain crops are doing well, and stalks are bowing to the ground under the weight of the food they bear. Such fortune is rare. Who will decide what to do with the sudden wealth? Okay, let's hold off for just a second. A true masterpiece. Still life with lemon peel, drawn by a local artist, was celebrated by the connoisseurs and art lovers. Such a masterpiece cannot go to waste. And that one has to be Jubilost. Alright, I think I know what we're doing here, but let's go see what Valerie needs. Valerie keeps silent for a few moments, pursing her lips. I don't know where to begin. You see, your subjects, who until recently felt only suspicion towards you, are gradually changing their minds. What you've been able to do for the barony has apparently made them feel that they can bring you any problem they have, even the most trivial. Valerie sighs. The neighbor of a local shepherd has taken his cow. Apparently, the owner let it graze in her backyard, and now the woman refuses to return the animal. According to her, she tolerated the imposition long enough, and now feels the milk belongs to her. The shepherd, of course, is demanding the return of his property. As I see it, the shepherd is right. The cow belongs to him, and it must be returned to the owner. Although, if you want to know my other opinion, Valerie's face becomes more stern. This is a matter for the village chief or a village council or something of the sort, not for the supreme ruler of the lands. This barony may not be vast, but that doesn't mean the peasants should bother you with such trifles. Ooh, that's actually an interesting point. I don't necessarily disagree with her. I do think that's pretty trivial for the Baron to have to deal with. But I don't really like the phrasing of that particular option, so return the cow to the shepherd. Valerie nods. Of course. Okay, let's get back to baroning. There's our token reward. Always nice. Heeding the poor and weak. Paying attention to the community and heeding every call of distress, the Regent resolves problems with a +1 bonus. Wow, okay, that is, actually pretty fantastic. Yeah, we'll get her right on that. Alright, we need Jubilost on that painting. And we need Tristan on those crops. Ah, nice. Okay, looks like Casil is up for promotion. Let's just make sure we're not missing anything obvious here. Yeah, I think we're good. Mysterious weed. Triumph. The priests managed to convince the peasants that the weed must be eradicated. The crops have been saved. Nicely done, Harem. Bumper harvest. Success. The counselor bought the excess grain from the peasants and ordered huge granaries to be built, where it would be stored in case of future famine. Not what I was expecting him to do, but, yeah, that makes sense. Another proposal for cooperation. Tragedy at the mine. The local stone mine had a rock slide. The stone merchants have jacked up the prices, and construction materials are running short. Oof, I think that one is particularly nasty if you fail it. An amazing discovery. Some foreign treasure hunters found an amazing artifact at a dig site. It would be nice to obtain it, but how? Looks like they both require Valerie. But the tragedy at the mine is an actual problem, so that definitely has to take priority. Well, let's go see what Casil has to say. That'll give me a moment to consider our options. Your Grace, I am happy to report that recruitment continues. Our ranks swell with more and more fine soldiers. However, we now face another problem. There aren't enough officers. We shouldn't look for them among the common citizens. Command requires certain skills and knowledge. I recommend you recruit officers from among the Sword Lords. They are experienced warriors and skillful leaders, capable of strategic thinking and inspiring the sort of courage that will survive the harsh realities of the battlefield. He does make a fair point, and recruiting Sword Lords would improve our relations with the Aldoris. But I also feel like I should really, occasionally, make choices based on the fact that I'm an alchemist. We haven't really done much to boost our arcane score just yet. No, hire spellcasters as officers. But how should a spellcaster, who has sat all his life in a lab, be expected to take up command? Casil shakes his head. I'm surprised by this decision. Sorry, Casil. Let's hope that doesn't come back to haunt us. No new project. Anyway, we are going to wait for Jubilost on the mine, but... Oh, shoot, I forgot about this. Alright, well, let's just get Valerie on the mine. We'll save Jubilost for the proposal. We know that one gives us bonus building points. Well, we've got a week to kill, so let's head out to Thornford. Do a little bit of adventuring before we wrap things up.
According to plan.
Oh. And what do we have here? Wait, I want you to meet someone. Here, this is Tessie the Quill, a book peddler. If not for her, I'd probably still be sitting in a radish patch in my hometown. Tessie, a plump woman wearing heavily patched clothes, greets you with a broad, gap-toothed smile. Nice to meet you, Your Barony. Thanks for keeping an eye on this little tot. A pleasure to meet you, Tessie. Where are you from? Right now, or in general? Came from Avon right now. As for in general, well, I'm from everywhere and nowhere. Was found under a bush, and I've traveled with the wind ever since. How did you meet Lindsay? Went through her village from time to time. Weren't many buyers. I was lucky to sell half a dozen calendars each year. Maybe a couple of cheap, vulgar prints. Then a priest from the capital went to live there, and he got the young people interested in reading, little by little. Some would ask for romance stories. Some wanted heroic tales. Well, one day, this little tot came by and traded her father's belt, 2 bottles, and a hunk of bread for a 2-volume collection of legends about the Arc-Knights of Avestan. Came back later all tear-stained. Looked like her daddy didn't need the belt after all. So she sniffles at me and says, "Take me with you, I can help," and looks at me like a lost puppy. So I took her along. Why not? And that's what got the ball rolling. Poor Lindsay. What brought you here? A little bird told me about a proper city in the Stolen Lands now. One with a printing house. With an old friend of mine sitting in that printing house at that. So I came by to see her. Maybe buy some books while I'm at it. Will you be staying? Me? Not really sure. Probably for a while at least. The people here seem fine. They read at least. Then again, there is a printing house here. And I get to catch up with Lindsay. Hadn't seen her for a few years, you know. After I get tired of things here, I'll be on my way again. Tessie, you travel around. Have you heard anything interesting about my neighbors? Tessie hides the money and smiles knowingly. Course I do. Who you want to hear about? How are things in Brevoy? Bad. People in Restove are honing their swords. With the royal house gone, it's just a matter of time until there's some big uproar. Everyone knows it and no one wants it, but there doesn't seem to be any way to avoid it. Any news from Avon? The usual, schemes and duels. Seems a bunch of runaway bandits flooded in there from Brevoy. Rumor has it the great houses are intentionally straining Mavon, so the Aldori there won't be able to help Restove when the carnage begins. I see. And, what's going on in Patax? Under King Iravetti, what isn't? Parties, parades, executions. The king robs the trade houses that used to own the city. He brought some gang in from Numeria, who's been selling deliriant potions. He sends strange expeditions into nearby lands, but no one knows what he's looking for. Nobody can tell what that kook is thinking. That's why he always wins. Has anyone asked about my lands? Now, don't go taking me for a spy, all right? Honestly, go ahead and check me with magic, or just ask Lindsay. I'm happy to hear and pass along rumors, but I don't go spying on purpose. My business is books. Fair enough. As for your question, well, of course they're interested. People in Restove want to know if they were right to wager on you, while Mavon and Patax are still trying to take the measure of their new neighbor. No one knows what to expect from you, so they're getting themselves ready for some surprises. All right, thank you, Tessie. That's enough for now. You're always welcome. We peddlers are pretty good at judging rumors, you know. Well, it has been a pleasure. Farewell, Tessie. A good day to you. Take care of Lindsay. Alright, well, let's take care of some quick bookkeeping and then we'll hit the road. Okay. We're at the half-hour mark. Let's do some adventuring. Now, we are headed northwest, to the Thorn Ford, our old stomping grounds. Should just take a day or two. Always happy to get some unscheduled loot and XP. Fire method. That's new. Yeah, that seems about right. That's a ridiculously low price for a piece like this. It's dwarven made, you know. My grandfather used to wear it. That's none of my concern. It looks broken. Can't give you a coin more. The dwarf stashes something hastily in a big bag when he spots you. What do you want? I mean, how can I help you? Who are you? I'm Kurgabas. Dwarf Kurgabas. Just a stranger on my way to, Andoran. Judging from the look on the dwarf's face, the name Kurgabas sounds just as dumb to him. Why don't you, show me what's in the bag? The dwarf turns pale. Dragon sent you after me? Please don't kill me. I'm Kurgan, his younger brother. What stories did he tell you about me? That I stole from him? Well, maybe I did, but he's the one who started it. Always bossing me around, saying he was older. Do this, don't do that. He was trying to strangle my talent. I'm an adventurer by nature. Adventure lures me. And he tells me my passion is nothing but prowling and roguery. Become a master, he said. Work hard in the family forge, he said. I'm sick to death of forges. I know it's a custom, but it's a stupid one. I want to see the world, to perform great feats. There's no adventuring without armor and a sword, so I took my grandfather's armor. It was no use gathering dust like a holy relic. I wanted my chance at glory. I wanted it to serve our family honorably one more time. But the whole hero thing didn't exactly work out. I had to sell the armor to feed myself. I swear I was going to buy it back. I just needed more time. While I was gathering my strength, I heard there was a blacksmith named Dragon who was forging some legendary armor. I realized this could be my second chance. I know I already did him an awful wrong. But if he hadn't hounded me, I would have become a respectful adventurer, a world traveler, and a wealthy man. Wow, that is some flimsy logic. I'm pretty sure that having an overbearing older brother does not justify repeatedly robbing him. You cheated your own brother, sold the family relic. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? Kurgan flinches as if he's been hit, and then droops. You're right, I'm ashamed. I dreamt of returning home with wealth and glory, so Dragon would see how dumb he was. Now I've embarrassed myself, and I can't dare look him in the eye. It turns out I was the fool, not he. You know what? You can take the armor. I'll go to the city and surrender to the guards. I'm tired of running away. There's no point. There's no escaping your own guilt. I'll serve my sentence, and after that, I'll lead a different life, a clean one. My brother might even take me back. Well, that worked out pretty nicely. Let's do a quick sweep, and then we'll move on.
In due time.
I was kind of hoping we'd catch up with that shady merchant. Well, back to the world map. Alright, now, here's what I think we're going to do. We'll hold off on going to Oleg's just yet. I mean, we do want to get there eventually, but we'll be headed that way anyway, once we make our first foray to the Tenebrous Depths. Something which I do want to do, but which is a slightly lower priority at the moment. Instead, let's go ahead and push east. We'll fill in a few gaps in the map and go pay Magar Varn a visit. That should kill about 4 days.
Resting would be nice, don't you think?
My strength fades.
Doomsayer scares townsfolk. Jod insists you need to intervene in an important matter and awaits you at the castle. Well, that will have to wait until we are back in Stag's Fall. We're actually not that far out. We should be able to rest once we get there. Might hit some of these on the way back. Yeah. Let's hit Varnhold first. Our travels took us east. Leaving the mountain ridge behind, we came to Dunsward, a wild land, far less populous and civilized than the barony that had grown so dear to us. It wasn't all bad, though. The roads in Dunsward were well guarded, and we soon met a well-armed patrol. As we approached, one of them raised a hand. "Stop! Turn back! The road to Varnhold is closed. The second guard was in less of a hurry to drive us off. He squinted and studied our leader. Wait, you're Silverleaf. My respects, Your Grace. If you're here, traveling so far from your land, I have to assume you've come to visit our ruler, Magar Varn. You may continue on, of course, but please allow us to accompany you to Varnhold for your own safety. Are you ready to continue? The Baron took the opportunity to learn the reason for such caution. Bandits, Your Grace, one of the guards muttered. All sorts of rabble make their way here from Restove. We don't get a moment's peace. The river and roads are crawling with their lot. Until we cleared them out, we thought it best to patrol the tracts in the river. But we're not here to hold you up with that. We'll be happy to accompany you on your journey to Varnhold. We agreed to let the guards escort us safely to Varnhold.
My strength fades.
Oh, lovely. Well, we are not exploring Varnhold like this. Ah, there we go. That was easy. Alright, let's have a look around. Oh my. It's Ethel. We haven't seen him in a while. Go bother Varn with all this. I have better things to do than to entertain gawkers and layabouts. Yeah, that seems about right. Above the entrance to the tavern hangs a brightly painted plaque depicting a horse with a fishtail in place of its hind legs. I was kind of hoping we'd be able to go in there. Maybe see a few more familiar faces. Oh well. You're bleeding me dry. Lower the price. I can't. I just can't, Your Grace. It would reduce me to poverty. Whom are you hoping to fool with this? You're buying the goods off the weavers for much less. You haven't been to Resto for a long time, Your Grace. The guild has inflated the prices, and the guards cost much more nowadays. Before you is a tall, robust man. A few white scars cross his face. His dark hair is gathered back in a small ponytail, and the sleeves of his expensive doublet do little to hide the muscles beneath. Although irritated by the argument, a wide smile lights up his face as he recognizes you. Whom do I see? Silverleaf, my friend. Welcome to Varnhold. I am Magar Varn. I run the town here. I hope you had no trouble on the roads. I just couldn't help not paying a visit, especially after your invitation. Look at it from another perspective, my friend. This is a chance to survey your eastern borders and make sure you've got no one but allies here. It's better to see for yourself than rely on my words alone, am I right? Sure, why not? Taking the reins of government into your own hands? Magar grins. Trying to, at least. I have to admit, conquering these lands was far easier than keeping the greedy merchants in check. I see life in Varnhold is in full swing. Much remains to be done. What you see now is just the beginning. Varnhold has a shining future. Just you wait. By next year, we'll begin building a tract to your capital and establish river trade with Restove. Right now, Dunsword is not particularly welcoming, but I aim to change that. As soon as we get a foothold here, we'll begin clearing the land of creatures, monsters, and Spriggans alike. The people must feel safe. Words of a worthy ruler. Planning future conquests, are you? We've got enough on our hands at the moment. Although, in the future, who knows? Who knows? Magar studies you for a moment in silence, then bursts into laughter. Just don't think I'll start off by marching my guard over the mountain to your doorstep. There's plenty of land east for my people to patrol, without trespassing on my allies. You sure about that? Watch yourself, because I'll be watching you. Varn jokingly lifts his hands into the air. Peace, peace. Let me ask you directly, who else are you allied with? Magar narrows his eyes at you, then nods. Cutting to the chase, eh? Very well, we have more in common than you'd think. Here's the truth. I don't trust those who sit in the north. They send fellows like us out to do all the dirty work. You and I share this frontier, Silverleaf, and I'd rather bet on our mutual interest as neighbors than on the distant sword lords and their like. That does match what we saw in the DLC. Oh, but just to clarify, this does take place before the events of Varnhold's Lot. We'll be getting back to that a little later down the line. I stumbled into a most peculiar old man on my way here. Ah, yes, you mean Cephal Laurentis, my wizard. Codger's hardly a pleasure to talk to, but when it comes to knowledge of the arcane, he's without match. Sometimes the locals bring me curious objects. They unearth them while plowing or stumble upon them while patrolling the wilderness. If the object looks interesting, I send them to Cephal. Let him separate the wheat from the chaff. Well, you have my respects, Magar, but I have to leave. Looks like a pretty generic vendor. Yeah, an assortment of mid-level scrolls and general supply items. Nothing special. Okay, let's have a quick look around. Oh, hello. The Heart of Ira. An inscription on the necklace states, "To other potential kings, every kindness will be paid in kind, and every evil will be paid in time. Vilmund." The legend says it was created by a ritualist Vilmund, using the blood of a Nucalavi, the head of a duck, and the left hand of a paladin. This necklace of purest silver has a single deep green gem set in the center. The gem is of unknown origin, and no jeweler has ever been able to determine where it came from or what exactly it is. The name of each user is etched into the necklace as it is worn and used. The wearer of this necklace becomes immune to fatigue and exhaustion, and can activate the necklace to surround himself with an aura of nothingness. While the aura is activated, creatures adjacent to the wearer take 2d6 per round, and must succeed on a reflex savings throw to avoid becoming fatigued. Wow, okay. That's quite a find for a random barrel in a backwoods village. Well, I'm not so sure about that aura. It sounds like it would be a nightmare to try to avoid friendly fire with that thing. But it's certainly worth using for the immunity to exhaustion. Gotta say, that alone justifies the trip out to Varnhold. Not too shabby. The reek of fish emanates from the stocky building.
That is not far.
Alright, let's finish the sweep, and then I think we'll be at a pretty good stopping point.
As it should be.
Actually, you know what? I think it's mostly just basic scenery and cheap vendor trash from here on out, so let's go ahead and hit the pause button now, and we'll touch on the highlights next time. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Pathfinder Kingmaker, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official YouTube channel, the official Discord server, the official Facebook page, the official Twitter feed, or the original crowdfunding campaign over on Kickstarter. Links are in the description.